Thank you for joining me again for part 2 of Confidence and Sexuality. Super excited to get into this. Real quick, because I always forget to do this on my videos, if you like what you hear from me, go ahead and push subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. That way you don't miss stuff that comes from me. Also, I just got to tell you right from the beginning that I have got a story for you guys today. I know I always have a little bit of a story. It seemed like I've got a lot of great stories that I could pull from my past. This is a story that only a few people in the world have ever heard. So I thought I'd share it with you guys today with our close-knit YouTube family that I don't even know who watches these things. I'm going to share it with you guys today because I thought it would be helpful. And I feel like if I've gone through a situation that someone else could relate to and pull like some goodness from it, then I don't mind sharing it. I also made some notes today. I know I normally don't. But I've got a quote for the end, which it'll be better than last time when I just try to paraphrase something. So anyways, okay, so sometimes I get into the story like later on, but I'm gonna start right at the beginning with the story because I have a lot of stuff to say about the story afterwards. Not necessarily about the story, but some things that I learned from it. So anyways, you know, a few years into my first marriage, my previous marriage, I decided I wanted to try something different, you know, kind of spice things up a little. And a little bit of background. I had just turned 19 when I first got married. And by the way, I was married for like 23 years. But I had just turned 19. I hardly dated because I felt like if someone wasn't worth the potential, I saw some potential of some sort of future with, like why even go out with them in the first place? So I hardly dated. And anyway, so not a whole lot of experience in anything. I got married, and I think when it comes to sexuality, at least from knowing how, you know, my journey and other people's journeys that might have been similar, it takes a little bit of like getting used to, getting comfortable with things. And, you know, of course there's the excitement at the beginning, like the newness and excitement, but then it's like getting comfortable with everything that involves, with our bodies and with how we express ourselves. And so a few years into our marriage, I decided, I'm like, you know, I think I would like to do like a full-on striptease for my husband. Okay, and when I'm talking, like, I'm not talking about just like, hey, having fun, taking some things off, you know. I'm talking like with a song, with an outfit, like the whole shebang, like a production, okay? And super excited about it, a little bit nervous. Can I just say, if you've never done something like this for your husband before, which I would highly recommend, 99.9% sure he'll love it and he'll love you for it. I know my story that's coming up next might give a little, you know, but just follow me with it. But if you do it, just a little tip, don't pick a song that's like 5 minutes and 52 seconds long, okay? Just throwing that out there. There's lots of songs that are like 2.5 minutes. That'd be a much greater start. Anyways, so I pick out the song, I pick out the outfit and all this stuff. I tell my friend about it, and I'm like, you should do it too. So like, we're in this together. We're like, you know, together as far as you can be. So she was gonna do it on a certain day. I was gonna do it on a different day. Anyways, so we were going on a trip, and I have all my stuff ready, and you know, like before it happened, like I think we all look at situations and we run through our mind like, how is this gonna work out? Like, what is the end result of this going to be? And so, you know, I didn't really know how his response would be because, you know, some men, really all of us in general, but men especially, it seems like, you know, if maybe they're also kind of getting comfortable with some of that stuff, you know, they might have a response, like some men may have a response of being like really quiet and reserved and just taking it in. And it doesn't mean he's not enjoying it. He's just might not know how to express himself, which is totally okay. And then, you know, some men might be totally comfortable with everything, be like, whoa, you know, which would be great too. I will say I wasn't expecting the response that I got though. So I'm like playing the music, doing my little song and dance, whatever, and I'm watching him, and his response is like, it's like it's not what I expected. It's like kind of like he was observing in like almost like a critical way, or like oh, I kind of feel sorry for you type of way. And I didn't understand. I can't believe I'm sharing this on here. Anyways, I didn't quite understand like where that was coming from, because I'm like, shouldn't all men, like if their wives do this, like they just love it? And I couldn't understand it. Had to go through 5 minutes and 52 seconds of it. And so when I get done, he like gives me a hug in kind of like a like the only word I can think of is like a placating way, like, oh, you know, like, and said something about, you know, how I should have been more professional about it, like I should have done a better job, like I should have done some research and did like a really good job. And I was just like, you know, I know everyone has their own philosophy on how they do things in life. Here's my philosophy. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first until you learn and you get to be better. I'm the type of learner, like I just got to get my hands in there and like start doing it, and I'm going to learn as I do it. Some people might like to prepare a lot more, and that's okay. I'm not a perfectionist. I'd rather like learn as I go and like get good at it. So, and you know, like we all have our own stories, but like that response was just not what I was expecting. And so I'll have to say, in any situation I've been in my entire life, I'm 45, any situation I've been in, there is nothing that I would say I feel more vulnerable in, like in that space, when I'm in a space like that. It's very intimate. It's not just about like having sex, of course. It's not about showing your body, because like if you're together, like they've already seen it. It is like displaying something more than just your physicality of yourself. It's displaying your soul. And so like I've spoken in front of thousands of people before, and like, are you nervous? Yes, I'm nervous, but it was nothing compared to something like that, because like when you're speaking, I mean, that's the only other thing I can think of that would be like that, like, oh my gosh, you know, when you're speaking in front of people, they're only seeing like a certain part of you. If you're doing something like that in front of someone that you love, you're like, to me, it's like everything, like your very soul is exposed. And so it's very vulnerable. So his response like that was quite devastating to me. Like internally, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not what I was expecting. And you know, I know like you can hear my story and be like, oh my gosh, you know, of course, like everyone has their own story. So like he has his own story too. So like, you know, it's kind of like in Proverbs. And if any of you have kids, you know this. Like the Proverbs says something about, you know, one side of the story seems right until you hear the other side. Like we've all seen that with our kids, right? And so, you know, like I have my side of things, he does too. You know, his story might be like, you know, I was just trying to live my best life, wanting to bring on 3 more wives. So, but, you know, and then I kind of sabotaged everything by getting a divorce. So, yeah, so three more wives. A blonde, a redhead, and an Asian, because he already had a brunette. Bless. Anyways, so we all have our own story, and you know, it's like, but that's how life is, right? There is, I have this favorite spoken word poet. Her name is Sarah Kay. Oh my gosh, I love her. And she has, in my favorite poem of hers, she has this line, and she talks about, she says, well, I wrote it down just so I would have it for you guys. Okay, because I actually have this memorized, but you know, things happen differently on video. Okay, this life will hit you hard in the face. Wait for you to fall back up, or wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they love the taste of air. And so that's like how it is in life. Like none of us come out of life without being bruised, without being cut up, without being maimed. And I'm talking obviously not in the literal sense. We all have to go through our stuff. And so as women, as girls, how do we handle things when things come our way that we don't like, that are not what we're expecting? Like, there's obviously ways that humankind, you know, deals with things, but there's definitely ways that women deal with things differently than men. And I'll tell you one of them, like I have this picture in my head, and I know like we all have her in us, because like as women, we all have these, I don't know what I call it, like maybe different perspectives of our person. Okay, and one of them is the girl who comes in, hip hop, hand on hip, finger wagging, shoulders moving, head bobbing. Like we all have her in us, right? I think like some of us were born with our hands on our hip. And that girl can be super fun and super sassy, right? Like kind of spunky. I have a friend who's like that. I call her my Spitfire friend, because like, she's quirky, and not quirky, that's not the right word. Just sassy, like in a fun way. I wish I had more of that in me, like in reality. I think my parents like spanked most of it out of me when I was a kid. Happy about it, you know. I'd probably be not very nice person to be around, and my brother probably would have been a wife beater, you know, because he would punch me when he'd get mad. So Jocelyn, if you're watching, you can thank me for letting him take out his aggression on me when he was young, and my mom with her wooden spoon. So anyways, that girl, you know, that we can so easily go to, you know, hand on the hip, this thing going, she can be really fun. But there's also times and instances where this thing right here can be not so fun. Where this thing right here can sound more like bitterness, or more like unforgiveness, resentment, right? Like I think we all know what I'm talking about. And it sounds, you know, sometimes it might sound something like this, like, he can expect never to see that again. or, you know, if he wants something like that, he can come crawling on his hands and knees to ask for it. Right? Like, do you see how easily I'm able to get into that? It's because it's in our girl DNA. Like, we're born with it. But the thing is, and this is what I want to bring up, the thing is, the things about bitterness and resentment, unforgiveness, they're a poison to us. They're a poison to us. They affect everyone around us too, but they especially affect us. Like there's a proverb in the Bible that says, the root of bitterness defiles many. And it also talks in another verse that says, bitterness is as rottenness to the bones. And that's not like a cute saying. Oh, bitterness is as rottenness to the bones. Like it's just like some poetic thing to say, like bitterness is as rottenness to the bones. No, bitterness, everything in our world, whether it be this wall, whether it be an emotion, a disease, whether it be my massage table in this room, everything in life has a frequency and a vibration. And bitterness and resentment has its own frequency and own vibration. And when it says that bitterness is as rottenness to the bones, it means bitterness is as rottenness to the bones. It's going to damage you, but it's also going to defile all of those around you. It's either going to defile the people around you, or, because like, have you ever been around people that it's like, you just get done talking to them and you're just like, like I just need to shake some stuff off. Like I need to take a bubble bath. I need to burn some sage. Like I need to do something, right? I need to pray. I need to take a run. But then, so like some people, maybe if they're not harboring that, like they have that like sticky feeling, like when you leave someone like that, there's also the chance that you're around someone like that has like that bitterness in them. Oh, I'm angry at my husband. I'm angry at this. I'm bitter because of this. I have unforgiveness because of that. If that's in you and they have that matching frequency and vibration, like it's almost like a pulsating thing that attracts each other. And then it's like a big bitterness fest, because it's like these things attract each other. I can go on and on about frequency and vibration. That's not what this video is for though. So getting back to what it's about, we are the only ones who are going to have to live with ourselves, become with ourselves of who we become. We're the ones responsible with who we become. We're the ones who have to lay our heads down at night and be okay with the person that we are. So I have a quote for you guys, but before I read this quote, I want to just leave you with this, and because there's a crux point in each of our lives where we have to decide if we are going to let other people's junk determine who we become. Like, how easy it would be, like, for a situation like that to happen, and maybe in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal, right? There's all sorts of horrible things that happen to all sorts of people. But like in my own little life, that could have been a stopping point in my life. It could have been a place where I'm like, that door is shut. I'm not venturing to do that again. All those little bitterness things, resentment. Yeah, never gonna do that again, such like that. Instead, if you can think, if you're in a situation like that, if you can think, that is not who, I don't want to stop there. Like, who is a person that I want to become? What legacy do I want to live out in life? Like, what vibration do I want coming out of me? Like, who is that person? And instead of letting those things stop us in life, why don't we just realize that those are just, it reminds me of like the old time Atari games. The guys like going, I think of life like this all the time. The guy's going down the road, and I have no idea what this game was, but I'm sure it's from the 80s, and like a barrel comes, he has to jump the barrel, a fire dart comes, he has to like duck or whatever. Things come at us that are going to try and pull us down and take us off the path of who we are destined to be, who we want to be, living our life to the fullest. no one gets this easy path, this like straight path where we're just like sunshine and flowers all the way. Like there's going to be thorns and thistles. There's going to be rocks that we have to climb, mountains that we have to climb, things that we trip on. But it's a matter of getting back up and doing it again, because you are worth it as an individual. Your legacy is worth it as an individual. Becoming the person that you want to be and God has made you, destined you to be, is worth it to push through the hard stuff. And this is the quote that I wrote down for you guys. It's not like an obscure quote that I found in some ancient text. It's a quote that probably a lot of you guys have heard already, but I love it so much, and I thought it was applicable today, so I'm going to share it. It's from Mother Teresa. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyways. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyways. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyways. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyways. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyways. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyways. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyways. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyways. Oh gosh. This last line to me is, gets a little emotional, but it's like the most meaningful part. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyways. And that was from Mother Teresa. So I hope this I've shared some stuff that you could take home and maybe do something with. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you have anything that you would like me to share about in the future. I have lots of things in my mind that I would like to share about. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Remember, if you want to hear more, subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. And I hope you guys have a great day. Love you all.